Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this birthday card. I'm calling it a double fold card. I don't know if it has another name, but it opens one fold and another fold there. I'm going to change my colour scheme. I'm going to be using rich raspberry for the video. So I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces that we're going to be needing. So you need a piece of Whisper White cardstock which measures 5 3/4 inches by 6 1/8 of an inch, which is 14.6 by 15.5 centimeters, and a piece of rich raspberry which measures 5 5/8 inches by 8 inches, which is 14.3 by 20.2 centimeters. 2 pieces of rich raspberry which measure 5 5/8 inches by 1 7/8 inches, which is 14.3 by 4.75. I did have all the measurements worked out for the bits and pieces for the stamping, etc., but in the end I decided just to recommend that you get some of our thick Whisper White cardstock, because we'll be using blends. This is much better for it, and you'll see when we start stamping why I think it's better than just to restrict you to pieces that are limited in size. And a piece of Designer Series paper. This is from Painted with Love, and this is 5 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 inches, which is 14 by 9.8 centimeters. And then one small piece of rich raspberry which measures 3 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches, which is 8.5 by 6 centimeters. Start off with, we're going to do a very little bit of scoring on these 2 pieces. So you will need either your trimmer or your scoreboard, whichever you prefer to do your scoring with. I prefer my scoreboard. So let me just get this into shot. And first of all, for the white piece, now on the side that is 6 1/8, which is 15.5 centimeters. You need to score it at 2 inches, which is 5 centimeters. So that's just going to be folded over like that. And then this piece is going to be scored at 4 inches, which is 10.1 centimeters. And that's all we need for our scoreboard. And this one is going to be folded like that. And can I get my bone folder? Yes, I can. Just to give these a nice crease. So let me think. We'll do the piece that comes on the top here, and that has been dry embossed. That'll be one thing for the big shot, and then I'll have to put it away and then bring it back again. So we're going to have one of these pieces that we're going to dry emboss. Let's move that right out of the way while I bring this up. And to emboss this, I'm going to be using one of the Petal pair. 2 designs on this. You can see that one nicely. Can't see that one quite so well. This is the one I'm going to be using. Let me just see if I can show you this design. It's a flowery one, but I just felt that it's too busy for the project that we're doing. And that's the actual picture of it there. But this is what we're doing. So what we need to do is, we're going to be using our normal platform, not the magnetic one. So that's this one here. And we will need 2 cutting mats. So I'm just going to pop one piece into my embossing folder. I'm going to try and make sure I get it straight, because this one does have lines on it and it does show if you get it a bit wonky. There we go. Beautiful. I love this design. Right, so if I move that one out of the way, because I won't be needing that again. Let's bring the other one back, my magnetic, because that one I will be using again, or at least using. So I'll pop that out of the way to start with. And I'm not quite sure which way to go on this. I think what I'll do first is I'm going to adhere this into this bit. Okay, so I've got my little fold on the Whisper White up at the top, and on my Rich Razzleberry I've got the fold at the bottom. And I'm going to adhere this onto my Whisper White, but there is going to be a small white edge around there, and you can't actually see that, can you? Let me just slide that under there. Okay. So there's going to be a small white edge both sides, and there will also be, if I position this correctly, a white edge at the bottom. So all the way around, small white edge. So I'm going to use Tombow. You can use fast fuse or tear and tape. So I'm just going to do this by eyeballing it. I'm just making sure I've got the right amount of gap on all 3 sides. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and it's left me a little gap at the top there as well. Excuse me. Right, so next I'm going to pop this piece on here. And I think I can do the underneath piece as well. Pop that one on. This is another one where I've left it so that there's a small white gap all the way around. And then this one's coming up here. Just double check that I have left, or at least cut it the right size. There we go, so it's that, that and that. So on the front of this one we're going to have our designer series paper. So as that comes over, it's going to be like that. This is a specialty designer series paper. That looks nice, doesn't it? That'd be better for engagement card or wedding card or something, wouldn't it? Too late for Valentine's. Now I've distracted myself what I was going to say. Designer series paper. Yes, specialty designer series paper, in as much as every sheet on one side there's gold like this. You see the gold lines on there. There we go. Again, a nice little edge around there. On with the card, on this one I actually put another pink sheet on the back so that there's somewhere for writing. Well, thinking about it, you could write your greeting up there, couldn't you? Didn't think about that. Oh, that's what oh no, you can't on this one. So on the back of this one, I haven't got it to do now. I didn't really think about it. I could leave that just plain, but I'm going to put a piece of rich raspberry on there, and then I'm going to put some white on top of it, just to finish it off nicely. Now that's all my card put together, so all I need to do now is all the bits to go inside. Okay, I have done them all, but what I'm going to do is show you how I did them all. It would take too long for me to do a video with having to make you sit here and watch me do all this colouring. So I'm going to do them one at a time. Let's start from the front one. Okay, I am changing the colour of my flowers here. I've got pink, and I've actually changed the flower, but the stamp sets that I'm using for the flowers, the bird, all of these flowers, I'm using Petals and More, which is a 2-pack set, and I think it's probably my favourite set out of all of the spring summer catalogues. So there's that one. For the sayings, because I thought that that font there was very much I think it goes really nicely with the outlines of these, so I'm using Beautiful You. Happy Birthday Gorgeous is what I've got on the front there, and Live with Passion, Laugh Out Loud and Love Deeply is what I'm using on this one. And for the bird, I wanted him to be sitting on a branch, and it was easier to use that and that, which is from Bird Banter, rather than trying to use the branch that's available in this stamp set. I just went for the easy option. But if you don't have Bird Banter, then obviously you can use this one. So first of all, I'm going to do the big stamp, and I'm using black Memento ink. This stamp set is absolutely fabulous, and I mean fabulous, for using our blends. And the reason it really is fabulous is that the outline of the images is quite wide, which means as you're painting, painting, you can go right close towards the edges. Let's do the leaves first. Thick end. So because the paper really does soak up the ink and you don't want it coming out on the outside, you can just take your brush up close to the edge. You don't have to go right over it. So this is the Old Olive blends, and I'm using the light first of all. So I just go over the leaves first. As you can see, it's just so quick to do. as you can see, I find it easier so that the point of the nib or the brush is facing the outside edge. Then I can just take it right towards the edge without going right over. Okay, so that's really nice and easy. And the way I paint these leaves and the flowers is how I do it on all of them. Right, now I've got the dark one. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not an expert painter at all, but what I'm doing is I just go round the edge with my dark pen. And it's much better to fall short of the edge and go back to it if necessary. For example, I don't know if you can see from where you are, but on that bit there, there's a little bit of light colouring left right by the flower there. So all I need to do is take the brush and just gently touch it. No brushing with it, just touch it, and enough ink will go off there to fill it in. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do on this one. I'm not going to, as I say, I'm not going to fill out the whole lot, but I just want to show you how I actually do this colouring. And then I start with the lighter one again, and I start on the dark side and I work inwards, and you will find that that will blend the colour. So you don't have any obvious lines there. Okay, so you can see some shading there. Not brilliant, but anybody looks at the card and they'll see shading, but it's not enough to be, nobody would notice that it's not the best painting in the world. Now you will see on here where I have gone too close to the edge and the colour has actually come through over the black line. And I've never tried using this colour lifter with such a large area, but this works brilliantly, I know, on small areas. But what you're supposed to be able to do is paint over the white bit, the bit that's come over the edge, and it will make it disappear. Just give it a bit of time to do its work. It's certainly getting lighter. So while that's doing what it should be doing, I'm going to do one of the flowers again with my lightest colour. This is Pink Pirouette, going up to the edges. No, as I thought, if you do come over the edge a lot, the colour lifter won't deal with it. It's where you go over a little bit. Have I gone over a little bit somewhere? No, I haven't. Because if I went over that time and time again, and obviously it made it too wet, and the colour lifter can't work like that. In fact, I suspect that that came over the black line because I'd done the green too much. It's quite dark on the back there, so that may well have been hanging around too much with the pink, the green rather. Right, now again I'm going to use the dark pink, and I'm just going to go towards the edge. I'm going to try and keep this as thin as possible because it's quite a small area, and if I go too heavy you can hardly see any shading on it. Okay, so that's just with the dark on the edges without having been blended. Now I'll go back with my light one, and again I start from the dark area and blend in towards the centre. I did it the other way round on this. Did it on the inside rather than the outside. Never mind. This isn't going to be used anyway because I've already done these ahead of time. Having a quiet little panic there, thinking that did I actually use Pink Pirouette? Hope I didn't do it again in Rich Razzleberry. But no, I have used the pink. Okay, so that's what it looks like once it's all blended in. Okay, so we need 2 of those. So that's one, and the other one is there. Okay, so 2 of those. Obviously I can do those easily. We do the Live with Passion, Laugh Out Loud and Love Deeply next. That's this one, and I'll use that flower with it, which is that one. Now this is why I said that I gave up on the idea of trying to give you sizes of this thick Whisper White cardstock. It's around that way. Okay, so what I did was I stamped the sentiment first, and then this one I just guessed where I was putting it. So let's see if I can. Alright, that's what I'm aiming for. So that means my stamp has got to be like that. Right, okay. You can't see what I'm doing here, but I am tilting my head sideways so I can see where the rubber on the stamp is going down. So it's not going on to the writing. There we go, that's fine. So when my die goes off onto this, it will cut some of the bits off round here, but that's okay, I don't mind that. So the flowers and the leaves were painted exactly the same way as this. Ignore that one. So that's that one. Have I got one? Yep. Okay, so that's that one. And then the bird. I did the bird first, that's right, I did. This was another reason why it was good to use the branch from the Bird Banter stamp set. Okay, so that's a bird. And then this is the stamp that I've used for the branch. And I did it so that the leaf was coming up here. Let me show you how close this is. Okay, if you want to get his tail in, that's how close that leaf has got to be to the actual bird. So let's see what we can do about that. Obviously, if you wanted to have the leaves behind him, you could do that. Right, now, if I just bring this down towards me, I can see where the branch is and I can get it onto his feet, and just make sure those leaves are close enough to him. Okay, that's good. And then for the extra leaves, that was another stamp from Bird Banter. And that one, I tilted it sideways as best I could. Made it touch the branch. This one looks as if it's touching his foot. Oh, missed it. Right, okay, I'm not going to worry too much because, as I say, this is a demonstration one. Now, to colour the bird, I used the light crumb cake, and I didn't try and do any shading with this. But what I did do with this one was I coloured over all of the bird, so even up on the black and white bits, because you could see white coming through, I coloured all of it without going too close to the edges, because, as I say, it will bleed through. When I first started using this stamp, I made all the birds robins by just painting some red on his breast. There we go. So I think that's all right. And again, the leaves I painted as best I could because it was really difficult. Let me show you. Very difficult trying to paint these because they are so thin rather. So what I did was I started off with the light green like that. Then I took my dark green and I only did a very, very small bit. I didn't try coming all the way down. Can you see just a little bit that I've done there? So then I went in with my blender, the light colour. Just went over it a few times, and you might be surprised at how blended that has become for such a small area. It's really pretty good. Okay, so there's that one, which is here. Okay, I just about got all of mine in because where I had judged the leaves, but that really was more luck than judgment. So there's that one. So that's it, isn't it? I think I have to die cut them now. I will die cut them even though they're not completed ones. So if we leave those there, let's move my good ones out of the way. I'll bring the big shot again. And the dies I'm using are the stitched shape framelits, which is for that one and that one. Have I missed one? Yes, I missed one. I missed the Happy Birthday Gorgeous. Let me just move this over. I'll show you which one I've missed. Oh, that's because it's on front. Okay, so I didn't do this one. So let me show you. Again, like the bird, no, more like this one actually, where I did this. I tilted my head sideways to do that. It's more or less the same as what I did on this one. I stamped the happy birthday and then came down with that. But I did use a different stamp, didn't I? I used this one on the card that we're doing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try and copy that. So black Memento ink. Happy birthday, gorgeous. Now this one, I will be putting my head down sideways again so that I can ink it like that. So let me see how we go on this. Again, I've got my head down looking at the rubber on the stamp. Don't think I did quite so well on that one, did I? But again, colouring the flowers, and it's a bit debatable on this one, what are actually flowers. I've taken that to be a flower, and that. I've just assumed that one straight line normally means it's a leaf. Except that one there, look, just as I said that. Okay, so that's the light colour. Dark pink. I'm doing around the edges of this one. Oops. I'll come back with my light colour again. Start from the dark, work towards the light. I don't know if you're watching this never having tried alcohol markers. If you haven't ever tried them, I would suggest that you give them a go. Fortunately, we are selling them as individuals or pairs, although you can buy the whole lot if you want. But I can't think how much they are. Is it £4 for two? You know, you could start off with, say, like the old olive and the pink pirouette, and just see what you think of it. As I say, the images that have the wide black outlines are definitely the easiest. Especially if you are a beginner. I mean, I'm not, but then I say I'm not much of a painter, and I'm not sure that I would attempt a image that has got what I would say normal outlines. I don't think I could cope with that. But for this, they're lovely. There we go. So now I'm going to put those through the get a pair of scissors here, because I don't need to put all of this through here, but I will put them through the machine, die cut them. This stamp set, the Petal Passion, and the dies that go with it, which is Petals and More, this set here, is on offer as a bundle at the moment, and these are the dies that you get in there. Why is it I always open these up and I always find one of those in there? So it's the bird, the big bunch of flowers. That's the smaller bunch, and I haven't used that one actually, that's another little flower. But you get these little die cuts as well. This one we're going to be using. But it's a really lovely set. That decorative bit, you could use that on any of your cards. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use that. Right, let's twist this back round again. Right, if you find once your cutting mat gets very, very damaged, like, well, not damaged, but lots of cuts in them, you might find it's also slightly warped. Mine is, it's not terribly warped, but when you're using your magnetic plate, it's better to have the dip touching your plate. Right, so this one, that's an oval, so that's oval number 3, and I will be needing circle number 3. These are the stitched shaped framelits. And I will be needing this scalloped oval, which is from the layering oval framelits, and that's number 5, so that's from out of there. The smaller the die, the lower the number, so I always count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one, 6, and number 7. Okay, so we will do this one first. And all you need to do is make sure that you're not cutting any of this off. Push it over as far this side as you can, and then see how much you are cutting off, and see how much you can bring this down without losing any of that, and making sure you get a sensible amount left there. I need to use a piece of this just to get that bit cut out. Okay, so you can see that, push that through there a bit. Right, you've got that one. This one is an individual die, that's this one here. What I will do with this one, where the it's really leaked there, I will come back and actually fussy cut this one. Oops, you're moving. Thing is, I need to cut all the white off to get that green leak off, which means it would need to be fussy cut all the way round. But that's okay, I'm quite happy fussy cutting. Let's just move that card out of the way first. Right, yep, you can still see me. Now the decorative one I'm going to run through again. These don't need it. Okay, so that cuts out really beautifully, but as you can see the green there does spoil it. Although once it's dried I might actually try the colour lifter again. That's an idea, isn't it? Now let's see how much we got left on here. There we go, that's still alright. It's cut some off, but I'll keep that, I'll use that one again. That'll be going on to a project. Let's see what else we got. Oh, that's going to stay, isn't it? So that one needs this. Again, bring that down as far as you can. Make sure you're keeping it straight. Let me just tilt that up a bit. In fact, I'm worried about that. So let me just... That's better. that can settle down there now. Right, so a proper look at this. Yep, actually I think this one is going to look better than the one I did. So on this one, the bird, right, I'm trying to see how much of the tail I can keep without losing too much on the leaves. Should I lose a bit of the tail under the stitching? Right, that's as far as I'm prepared to go on that one. Right. Right, now that one I'm going to be using my Sizzix brush with, so pop that on there for the time being. Oh, it hasn't cut it at all, it's too close to the edge. I thought that might happen. I've still got another shape to cut, so you can go through again. Okay, so that's alright. Pleased with that one. I'll use that again. I mean, I will use that on a project. And this one, let's see what we've cut off, if anything, here. Oh wow, look at that. That is really very good. So I'm happy with that. That I will probably use because I will have a go at drawing that leaf in that's missing. Right, let's pop that right in the middle. And this one, I need my piece of rich razzleberry. There we go. Let's just bring that back for the decorative bit. The scalloped oval didn't need it, but I don't think that would have done it any harm. No, that's fine. Okay, so that's the scalloped oval. And this one should now be fine. Much, much better. Okay, so let's get rid of the big shot. Put it in the other hand. And this is my, oops, coming adrift here. Doesn't look as if there's anything holding that down. Right, okay, so just run the brush along and you'll find all the bits will come out. Possibly leave one or two behind. There we go. Just use my paper piercer to push those out. There we go. Okay, so that's spare as well because I've already got two up there. So that's done. Put that aside for the rubbish bin. So now it's just a question of putting everything together. Tombow. So this is the one for the front, like the little clasp. If you're not happy that the top is just like a flap, excuse me a minute, I'm having a look at Tombow, and I have to say it's got this nasty habit of getting bunged up when I do videos. I can sit here all day crafting and it will be fine. Right, well that lump just come out. So what I need to do, far too much Tombow on that. So I'm just going to blot it on a piece of kitchen towel. That's better. Actually, I think the sentiment I just did was better than this one, wasn't it? I prefer the positioning of that. Never mind, this will be fine. So there's that. I need this and this. That's for the outside. That's for up there. And that's for here. You could put an extra bit of white up there for writing your greeting, which I think is quite a nice idea actually. Right, let me just get all these pieces adhered. No, I've got to do these first, haven't I? So where's my silicone mat? So I just put glue where I can on these. I think it's a less of a worry on how much glue you do on this kind of thing when it's going to be inside a card, because most of the time it's going to be closed and therefore not catching on anything. This is an ideal thing. In fact, I didn't think about this either. Would have been great for using the self-adhesive sheets. Is that what we call them? Where you die cut them and they come out covered in sticky, ready to go straight onto your work. Right, let's finish this one off now. I think I did it that way round, didn't I? Yeah, I'm not going to change my mind on it because I know it all fits in nicely. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do this one. When I was planning for the video, as you know, I do tend to change my colour scheme, and I'm limited to the pinks because obviously the designer series papers, and I did wonder whether this one would be too dark using Rich Razzleberry, but it looks as if it's working out okay. Now, adhering this, I'm trying to get the same gap as I have down here, up here. I don't think I succeeded particularly well, but that's what I was aiming for. I'll turn that one the other way round. Try making it same closeness to the edge there as this one is, and live with passion, laugh out loud. Oh, as you can see, this was obviously not my first attempt. And I've got some ink on there as well. I wonder if I can get that off. That's it, it's coming. I really recommend these erasers. Unfortunately, we don't sell them. It's made by the Tombow people, and it's a sand rubber. In fact, mine's a sand rubber this end and a normal rubber this end, but you can get them so that they're all sand rubbers. You can see that. Got rid of that ink for me, paint. It won't do really deep splodges, but little bits like that, it's very good at removing. And then pop the bird up here. So that's that, that's that. Now we need this on here, and then that is our card done. One other thing that I was thinking about, and that is I was thinking about putting a little Velcro dot on the back there to keep the card closed, which I might still do, particularly on this one because it's coming open quite a lot. Why is that coming open quite a lot? The other one's not so bad. But anyway, to adhere this, what I do is I just pop it on there, because I'm going to do it halfway, so I know where to put my glue. Yep, that's about right. I don't come right down to the edge, because that's going to be more than enough glue to hold it in place. Right, just make sure I'm centered. And make sure that I'm straight. Yep, lovely. So there we go, there's today's project. I hope you like it. It's not a difficult fancy fold to do, but there is a large area to be decorated. I mean, you know, to me, I could do something on there as well, but you know, you have to stop somewhere, and I'm really pleased with this, very happy. So where's my other one? Let's bring that in. Okay, you see this one's open a real long way. Even this I was thinking about the Velcro dot, but in fact I think I probably will do. Yeah. Anyway, there's today's project. I hope you like it. Let's leave that one open so you can see the inside with the closed one here. And I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions or any comments to make, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always happy to help you, and I do like to hear your feedback too. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I've featured here today, apart from that rubber, the eraser of course, there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below. In the box below also I will be putting all the products that I've used and all the measurements, including the score lines. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And also on my daily blog I post a new card more or less every day, so if you're looking for new ideas and inspiration, please pay a visit to my blog, which is www.jambcards.com. nice and easy to remember. And finally, I am looking for people to join my team. We are going through celebration, and it's the best time of the year for joining, because the extra offer that Stampin' Up are making is, as well as the £130 worth of products you choose as part of your Stampin' Up kit, your starting kit rather, you can also choose 2 extra stamp sets, which could add another £90 value onto the total value of the products you'll be receiving. So if you'd like to know more about that, please email me at jambi@jambicards.com. I'd love to hear from you. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.